Women being mad at men for something they created is hilarious to me. And it's sad, really, but it's just a sign of how women are unable to take accountability, how women are unable to look at reality. And I guess it shows how effective propaganda is, and it shows, you know, how brainwashed people are. And it shows how little women actually care about men. If you care about somebody, you listen to them and you listen to their complaints, you listen to what they're saying, you try to understand it from their perspective. It's called empathy, right? Women don't have empathy for men. Not at all. It's crazy. They'll have empathy for anything but men. You know, foreign people that they've never met, you know, ideologies, climate change concepts, you know, like that are supposedly harming the world. They'll go to pieces over stuff like that. They'll go out and they'll picket. They'll go on hunger strikes. They'll burn their bras. They'll demonstrate and protest, etc., right? But not when it comes to men. They just don't give a crap about men. They view us as annoying at best, right? Useful. You know, if we're useful to them, they might appreciate us, you know, insofar as we're useful to them for something. But it's crazy. It's crazy that women are not hearing men. You know, it's so funny. It's so funny. It's so hypocritical, too, because it's like you claim that feminism is all about equality. And you claim that as a woman, you just want to be heard, right? I just want my voice to be heard, right? But you don't give a crap when it's a man's voice. And if it's a man's voice saying something that you disagree with, you'll do anything in your power to shut that up. I've seen it, experienced it. It goes on every day. It's like, who are you kidding? Who are you trying to kid here? You know? You're out here actively trying to silence men's voices that are saying, hey, there's a problem here. We're not being heard. We're not being respected. We're not being, our perspectives and our experiences are not being taken seriously. We're being told that we're lying. We're being told that we're, you know, misogynist for experiencing what we experience, for feeling what we feel. When men talk about their experience with women, they're shouted down, they're attacked, and it's like, huh, that's interesting. So I could, you know, I have to listen to women when they speak, and I have to respect what they're saying, and I have to believe and accept what they're saying as reality. But when a man says something that doesn't align with the female narrative, none of that happens. It's not reciprocated. It's just like, what? You know? But it's crazy how women created this. I mean, this isn't men's fault. Men are just trying to live, you know? Now, again, it's the same thing that women do with bad boys, right? They go and they date the bad boys, and then they claim that all men behave like the bad boys. They say, oh, men aren't this, men aren't that. No, the men that you're dating aren't this or aren't that. But you're not choosing the good guy, right? And it's the same when women talk about like the patriarchy or men are oppressive to them. It's like, not all of us. It's like, not the majority of us. The majority of us are under probably an oppressive system. Now, if you want to delegate that system to maleness, you can, but it's not correct. It's not fair. It's not right. Okay, if there's a world leadership that is evil towards women, it ain't all men. I can tell you that. And I think most of it is just bullshit. I don't think that's true. I think that they took some things from history, so they took some concepts and they used it and they jujitsu'd it to suit their purpose, and they ran with it to pump up that evil ideology of feminism. That's what I think. I don't think there's a worldwide conspiracy called the patriarchy to oppress women. Now, is there some cultures that, you know, don't allow women to do certain things? You know, look at the Middle East, or maybe you could look at some Asian cultures, I think, somewhat like that. And can you call that a patriarchy? I don't know, but I will say that, you know, if we look at what women have done with their quote unquote freedom, right? It ain't pretty. I mean, the statistics of abortion are insane. Women have killed more children than all wars in history combined. That's a bananas fact, but it's true. You know, divorce pretty much doubled since second wave feminism. 85% of women initiate divorce, or 85% of divorces are initiated by women. You know, it's not men out here who are running around, you know, ruining marriages and killing kids and, you know, killing their babies and doing all this evil crap, promoting degeneracy, this, that, and the third. Men are just out here trying to survive. We're just trying to, you know, support a family. That's all men ever wanted. That's all our dream ever was. It wasn't to subjugate women. I mean, it's just such lies. It's just lies from feminism, man. That's all it is. That's all it is. And then what's the results? The results are damaged relationships, damaged culture, damaged society. And then they say, oh, why is there a male loneliness epidemic? What's that about? Men are just making it up. Right? It's like, okay. Well, first of all, I don't think men are out here trying to convince anyone anymore. Maybe I am, but, or at least, you know, at least I'm out here telling the truth. But, you know, believe it or don't, you know, I'm not trying to debate you. It's like, if you're an honest person, if you're righteous, if you seek after righteousness, if you know, have a moral compass and you're able to objectively recognize truth and reality when it hits you in the face, which a lot of people aren't these days, which is sad. A lot of people aren't that bright, aren't that cognizant, which is really crazy. But yeah, if you're able to recognize reality, you know, it ain't men. It ain't our fault. This isn't the result of men's mistakes. This is concerted social engineering, the result of propaganda, the effectiveness of brainwashing through ideological propaganda. And it's a powerful combination. And the people who do that, they understand that, I believe personally that women are more susceptible to propaganda. I believe women are more susceptible to ideologies that are harmful. I think men are pretty simple in the sense that, no, I'm not going to say that there aren't a lot of men who get caught up in stupid ideologies. You know, you got communism and socialism, things like that, but and then certain religions and things that men get caught up in. I mean, we're human, you know, we make mistakes, but you know, just basic common sense tells you that feminism is full of crap, you know. Telling women to go sleep around, telling women they can kill their children and they won't have any remorse. Ridiculous. Demonizing masculinity when men are the ones who built the world for them, when men are the ones who, you know, were smart enough to make the Constitution so they can have the freedom of speech to backstab men, you know. Because that's all feminism did, was it just taught women how to backstab men. You know, oh gosh, we you know, exhausted ourselves building homes and houses for you. Oh, that's the patriarchy. We're so oppressive that we build homes for you and go out and work our fingers to the bone to you know, support you and care for you and the children. Like, gosh, how oppressive. I mean, it's idiotic. It's like, okay, so you go be a man, and then when they do it, they don't like it. Oh no, I hate my job. I want to go be a trad wife now. It's like, they're just wishy-washy. They're flimsy. It's like, and then they wonder like, well, gosh, why do men, you know, across the world not allow me to have sovereignty? It's like, well, look what you did with it. Look what you did with your quote-unquote freedom. I mean, come on. You know, it's evident. We all know that they're all out sleeping around. We all know that they're bullshitting with the OnlyFans and the thirst traps and the social media thirst traps and the, you know, all the stuff. We know. We aren't stupid. It's not like you can hide it. Guys are not stupid, you know. It's like, wake up, you know. Just be real. Can women be real? Can they be honest? You know. But they're always mad about something, and I think this is part of that plan, part of that social engineering, is to keep them upset, keep them in their emotions, you know. Don't let them think rationally. Don't, you know, it's never about logic. It's always about getting a reaction. It's always about that emotional hit, that emotional stimulation, or that emotional outrage. That's what it's always about, right? And then you put that bee in the bonnet, and they run with it, and really it's insidious because you know, it's parasitic. These ideologies are parasitic ideologies. They eat the host eventually. Look at broken down women in their 30s and 40s who've done nothing but rage against men and sleep around and hate society and you have abortions, and you know, they're damaged. It's very sad. It's very, very sad, honestly, because these are so, you know, women are so important to a family. Women are so important to society. They're just crucial. You can't have a family without a woman. You need a woman. You need a mother. You know, you need that backbone. It's very sad. You know, I come from an era, probably the last decade, where we had where people went outside, in the sense that we didn't get on a computer for our entertainment. We had to go outside. We had to go make friends. Where you just go out and meet people. You know, and that's the thing, is that women don't understand that being a mother and being a wife is irreplaceable. It's irreplaceable. I remember being a kid and meeting new friends and that, back in the day, back in that day, in the 90s, we would go out and meet new friends, and one of the things the friend would always say is, hey, you want to come over to my house and play this game, or you want to come over and hang out or do this? You'd always just go over to each other's houses. It was a thing. I don't know if they still do that, but it doesn't seem like kids go out much anymore. Only time you see them is when they're on their way to school or whatever. It used to be kids were everywhere. They'd be in all the neighborhoods. They'd be out riding bikes or shooting hoops or playing sports or doing this or that. That's just all we had to do. We weren't inside on a computer. And so you'd go out and you'd meet a friend and he'd say, hey, come over. And when you go over to their house, you'd meet their mom. That was the thing. You'd meet their mom. And I just always remember that. That was one of the things that would always happen, and it always stood out to me how, a lot of times the mothers were always so sweet. They were always so sweet and kind and gracious and generous and gentle. And it's like, I just remember that was so impressive to me. And I was like, wow, your mom is so cool, And I had a mom like that. And my friends are always like, oh, I really like your mom. Her mom's so down to earth and she's so nice and da-da-da. And that was the thing. And it's like, I don't know if that even exists anymore. I don't know. Anyway. It's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. Would you want your mother to be an ex-OnlyFans model, or, been with a bunch of dudes before she met your dad? Like, it's weird, man. There's a male loneliness epidemic because men want quality women. In the sense that, hey, man, I want my wife to be special to me, not to the world, not special to other people, but special to me. And how are you going to get that if she's been with a whole bunch of other dudes? How's she going to be special to you if she shared her body and her soul and her heart with 20, 30 other dudes before she met you? It's like, you're not going to get the best version, man. And that's not the best situation. It's not that we're judging you. It's not that we're, oh, you're religious or you're this or you're that. It's that there's just something wrong about it. I don't know. It's something that can never be reconciled, for most scenarios. It's damage is damage, and I'm damaged, and many men are damaged as well, and it's sad. I don't know. It's just sad. But I guess at the end of the day, we can all find redemption. We can repent and turn our hearts in a different direction. I just hope that we never at least lose the semblance of values. At least we never lose, hold tight to your morals, hold tight to your values. They matter probably a lot more than you think. And I understand it. It's a cold world. It's a sinful world, and there's so much temptation out there. I get it, you know. And it's probably not easy being a woman because you just got zillions of options, right? So you're going to exercise some of those options. And you're going to try to take advantage and da 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 da. I guess to some great extent, that's human nature. Is that just female nature? No, that's human nature. To take advantage of things. You know. But I don't know, man. You know, to the men, it's like, good. You know, keep your values. You know, it's better to have values and be single than than lose your values just so you could settle for some subpar woman. I don't know. You know, it's like, because probably it ain't gonna work out anyways. You know, I've tried to settle more than a couple times in my life. Maybe 3 or 4 times I tried to settle with women who were just low value. You know, damaged, degenerate, promiscuous, had a shady past, bad character, didn't share the same beliefs and values as me. Those things definitely matter, man. And I hope men don't have to settle. I hope that we can find something good out there, you know, if there is something good out there. But that's what it speaks to, you know. The loneliness epidemic speaks to society. It speaks to what's really going on. It's just a result, that's all. It's just science. It's like cause and effect, right? Cause and effect. You do something, and then there's going to be a result. There's going to be a consequence. You know, for every action, there's a reaction. So, you know, when you damage women and you make them degenerates and you push out this degenerate culture and they're behaving immoral and they don't respect men and they're playing games with men and they're, you know, the list goes on, and it's like, what do you expect? You know, you light a fire or you throw a match, you light a match and you throw it, you're going to expect a fire. Or you light a match and you put it up to something, you're going to expect a fire. Right? So the social engineers behind the scenes, they knew this was coming. They knew that this was the goal. It's what they wanted. But it's just funny that women act shocked. Oh, why is there a loneliness epidemic? It's like, really? Why? Why do you think? You hate us. You treat us like crap. You diss us all the time. You don't like masculinity. You don't agree with maleness. You know, you don't like men. It's evident. You tell us every time you open up your mouth about feminism, you tell us. Okay, well, there you go. You're going to be single. Because here's the thing about a loneliness epidemic. If men are lonely, so are women. Because it's 50-50 out here, man. There's not more women than men. It's 50-50 out here. If there's a male loneliness epidemic, then there's a female loneliness epidemic. The difference is that women have become part of harems. That's the difference. The difference is that women are okay with fornicating. They're okay with being part of a high-value man's roster, right? They're okay with being part of a harem. Men are not okay with being one of 5 or 10 guys that the woman is sleeping with. It's not the same. Men are not the same as women. Said that a million times. Men are not the same as women. You can't equate men and women. We are different. Okay? Is a man wrong for wanting to feed his family? Is that the patriarchy? I don't think so. But that's been demonized, right? It's social engineering. There's people behind the scenes who are doing that on purpose, and women are falling right into it. So, women need to listen to men. Really. Listen to what men are saying. Listen to us, because we're telling you. We're telling you. We're telling you what's wrong. We're telling you the problem. And you're not listening. You're attacking us because you don't want to change, because you don't want to accept accountability. You don't want to accept your role in the equation, in the problem. You don't want to accept it. You want to have your cake and eat it too, and it won't work. It won't work. The result is going to be the downfall of society. Whenever societies become degenerate, whenever they become immoral, whenever lawlessness starts to rule, they always fall. The nations always fall. Every nation in history. Go look it up. All the powerhouse nations, their major number one downfall was degeneracy, right? Which always slips further and further, and it gets more and more, it escalates more and more evil until it's just chaos. That can happen, has happened. If we're not careful, it will happen again. Anyway, gonna end it there. I hope not. I hope we change. Hope we all wake up. Appreciate you listening. Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Peace.